You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hi there, Young and the Restless fans. We have got some juicy spoilers for next week about Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson, and for Sharon Newman, who is still trapped. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to have your full list of weekly spoilers tomorrow. Look for that video on Saturday, as always. But today, we've got some exciting stuff for Jordan, Claire, Adam, Chelsea, and Sharon. And if you are not following us, please subscribe. All right, let's start with Jordan and Claire, because her villainous great aunt is losing patience. She's tired of waiting on Ian and looks like she's going to take some drastic action soon. So on Friday's episode this week, you're going to see Jordan Howard in her blonde wig at Crimson Lights, there to get some tea, and she's doing some digging because of something she overhears. Esther Valentine is at the front counter, and she's leaving a voicemail for Sharon, wondering where she is, if she's okay, and Jordan comes up to place her order, and she asks Esther, what's going on, and she's going to tell Jordan that the owner is missing. And then Jordan asks Esther if the police are searching for her, and she tells Jordan yes. So Jordan's going to go out, wait on the patio for her order, and in the meantime, Nikki sent Claire to get them a caffeine fix from the coffee shop, and they had just been talking about Ian's return and how stressed out Nikki was about it. And she was telling Claire that he targeted young women and gaslit them into doing things. And Claire said that Ian sounds like Jordan. So her great aunt was on her mind. And then Nikki promised Jordan's gone out of your life for good, but obviously Claire's thinking about it. And then she was sent to Crimson Lights. Nikki said, go get me some caffeine. So when Esther calls out this very particular tea order, it's something that Claire immediately recognizes that an order that Jordan likes, that she would usually drink. And so it just kind of gets her hackles up, and she's looking around. But then Jordan saw Claire come in, and she was like already running out. So next week, they are both back to Crimson Lights. And Jordan went back to the motel on Friday after this tea incident and was ranting, monologuing to herself that Ian's not doing what he said he would about Claire. So she is going to have to take matters into her own hands. And next week, Jordan goes back up. She's at the coffee shop counter. This time there's a teen barista waiting on her, and Claire enters Crimson Lights, and Jordan says, thank you. And Claire hears her voice and recognizes it and calls out her great aunt's name. But Jordan is going to kind of slink out with her back to Claire. And I just wonder if she's going to follow Jordan. And if she does, my gosh, her crazy great aunt may do something just on the spur of the moment, something to her, maybe Jordan keeps chloroform in her purse. She seems like the kind that would. So Claire better be careful. All right, now let's talk about Sharon Newman. She is stuck down in that sewer, which sounds terrible, but if Jordan had followed Ian's orders, Sharon would be dead and dredged out of a river, just like Heather was. So, small blessing there. And at least Sharon has her Cameron Kirsten hallucination to keep her company, and Nick Newman is out looking for her. So things could be looking up soon. However, Sharon is very worried that the person that put her down there isn't going to come back, and she told Dead Cameron that she's almost out of water. So Sharon feels like her time is running out. And so next week, she is yanking on her chains, trying to figure out how she can get free and get out of there. And Sharon spots an iron bar, and she's going to try and grab it with her foot because it's a little bit away so that she can break the chains. And that seems kind of sloppy for Jordan to not notice. There's basically a crowbar lying near her hostage, but she was in a hurry and she needed to get out before Sharon woke up and saw her. So we also know Ian has dire plans for Phyllis, who is going to wind up in a life or death situation with Sharon, according to the Y&R previews for 2025. So that has me wondering if Jordan gets back to the sewer before Sharon can get herself free. I mean, it'd be kind of wild if Jordan showed up there with Claire, chloroformed also, and chained her up and then dropped Phyllis there too. Jordan could have herself like a whole little chain gang down there with no one any the wiser. I really, really hope, though, that Nick thinks to check the place where Sharon killed Cameron Kirsten, because fake Cameron was saying that it was the same spot, which seems unlikely, but he said it. And we all know Nick the Stick is more brawn than brains, but since Sharon regularly hallucinates Cam when she's spiraling, maybe it'll dawn on Nick to check there just for grins and giggles. All right, last but not least, spoiler for next week. It's about Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson. And you may recall after Victor Newman gave Nikki Newman the newly rebuilt mansion, they moved from the ranch house where they've lived for years, ever since Sharon burned down the original Newman home where Nick and Victoria grew up. So after that, he made this interestingly generous offer. Victor told Adam he could move into the ranch house they just moved out of so that Adam would be closer to the family, and so would Connor Newman, and he could be around the stables. And we've also seen Victor actively matchmaking Chelsea and Adam. You know, the mustache wants them to reconcile. He's made it clear to both of them. And up until now, Chelsea has pushed back. Anytime Adam talked about them trying again as a couple, she just was no. But this past week, Chelsea had kind of an unpleasant encounter with Billy Abbott that maybe it'll open her mind up to considering a reunion with Adam. Chelsea was bothered that Billy cut his mom Jill out of his life, and then he got really snippy with Chelsea when she said she's on Jill's side in this because she feels like Billy's behavior left Jill no choice, and that made Billy mad. And if you remember, Chelsea had really been hoping that Billy would forgive her and they could get back together, but he's moved on with Sally Spectra, and after this last encounter with he and Chelsea on very polar opposite sides of this issue that got very heated, you know, he's pretty much gotten past her cheating, but they are just very different people now. There's no way that they could reconcile. So that tense chat with Billy maybe gets Chelsea to finally accept that there's not ever going to be anything between her and Billy again. So the week of January 13th, she may just be primed to open up to the possibility that Adam suggests. He asked Chelsea about moving in with him and Connor at the ranch house, and Adam makes this case that them being together there under one roof, living as a family, could really help Connor's healing journey. And this could be the start of a new version of Chatham as a couple. In the 2025 Y&R preview, showrunner Josh Griffith said Chelsea and Adam both start to see that their night of passion in Baltimore was about more than just stress and worry for Connor. They begin to realize there is still more between them than just being concerned co-parents. So if you're a fan of Adam with Chelsea, this should excite you. And if you're not, well, you know, there's always the fast forward button.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.